So as you can see, I hurt my back, and no, it didn't happen while I was skiing. This actually happened while I was moving into my new apartment. So that's why I haven't made a video in a little while. I got this back brace, which is helping me with my stability, and it's gonna help me get through this episode. So here we go. So if you saw my last video, you saw that this channel is no longer called Dave in Portugal. It is now called Dave on Earth. But don't worry, I will still be making monthly videos about Portugal, and I even have a complete moving to Portugal guide coming soon. Go to daveinportugal.com for more info. The channel will officially change its name here on YouTube in October, and I'm really excited to share what I have in store with you guys. And to kick off this new era, I want to visit a place I've been dreaming of visiting since I was a kid, the Alps. My entire life, I've had a deep connection with the mountains, and at this point in my life, I'm trying to find any excuse possible to be out in nature as much as I can. Whether it's hiking, surfing, biking, or skiing, finding fun ways to be active can never be a bad thing. And with so much going on in the world, it's nice to just get away from people, get away from technology, get away from the stress of it all, the traffic, the rat race. So I packed up my things and took off from my home base in Lisbon, Portugal to Chamonix, France. Chamonix is situated in the French Alps just north of Mont Blanc, the highest mountain summit in Western Europe. It is situated between the peaks of Aiguille Rouge and the notable Aiguille du Midi, which borders both Switzerland and Italy. The commune of Chamonix-Mont Blanc includes 16 villages and hamlets, and the valley was first mentioned as far back as the year 1091. It has been a mountaineering mecca since the 18th century and was home to the first ever Winter Olympics in 1924, thus putting Chamonix on the international tourist destination map. In order to get to Chamonix, you will most likely fly into Geneva, Switzerland, which is the closest international airport. Arriving into Switzerland, I had a day to kill in Geneva, so naturally I decided to go find some Swiss chocolate. Because Switzerland is not inside the European Union, my phone plan from Portugal was not covered. And Switzerland happens to have very expensive roaming charges. Luckily, the sponsor of today's video, Airlo, had just the solution that worked like a charm. Let me show you how simple it works. Airlo is an eSIM that you can download as an app on your phone or sign up from the desktop of your computer. With Airlo, there are over 200 countries and regions to choose from. It's perfect for world travelers like myself that may need
need to spontaneously drop into another country or region. They offer a local eSIM, which would be if you were visiting only one country, a regional eSIM, which would be if you're planning a trip across a specific region like Europe, and a global eSIM if you're jet setting around the world. You can even still receive calls and SMS on your original number from your home country. The great thing is that you don't need to keep track of a physical SIM card. The only thing you will need is an unlocked phone compatible with eSIMs. It only takes about a minute to set up Airlo on your phone, and most destinations even allow you to set it up all the way from home before you reach destination, so when you land, you can automatically switch on your data and be connected to the outside world. There is a link in the description below for you to download the app and get $3 off your Airlo eSIM purchase if you use the code DAVE3. Thanks to Airlo, traveling is better. Now, back to the video. That evening, it was time to catch the bus to Chamonix. After crossing the border into France and driving on a winding mountain road, we arrived in Chamonix a little over an hour later. The next morning, it was time to wake up and hit the slopes. In Chamonix, there are 9 main ski areas. First off, we are starting at Chamonix's most advanced on-piste mountain, Grand Monte. The bus on the way to Grand Monte was packed like a can of sardines, but I ended up meeting a group of fellow American snowboarders that I ended up riding with for that day. Unlike a lot of the ski areas in the United States, Grand Monte is above the tree line, so the runs are just wide open, which I can imagine would be amazing on a really nice powder day. This was my first look over the Alps, and no pictures would have ever prepared me for what it's like being there. And one of the coolest things is that in a 1-week trip to Chamonix, you could ski in France, Switzerland, and Italy, all with the same lift ticket pass. I got the Mont Blanc Unlimited Pass, which featured access to over 10 different ski areas, including day passes to ski on the Switzerland and Italian side, which costed around 374 euros for 5 days of skiing, which is much more affordable compared to skiing in the US, where skiing at Vail in Colorado costs up to $458 for just a 2-day pass for only one mountain. And renting my gear was even more affordable. It costs only 82 euros for all mountain skis, boots, and poles for the entire 5 days. 84 euros, that's crazy. And when in France at the end of skiing, of course, it's time for a little ski après. It's safe to say that the French have figured out the art of post-skiing activities. For those of you that don't know, ski après means after ski and refers to post-ski social activities like drinking beer, eating stinky but oh so delicious melted cheese like raclette, melted over a toasted baguette, and of course, French onion soup, which here is just referred to as onion soup. After a long day of skiing, I was ready to head back to the village and take a nap. After waking up from my nap, I was quite sore from the day, and from burning all those calories on the mountain, I worked up quite an appetite. I'm a huge fan of French cuisine, and I asked a local where the best off-the-beaten-path local secret restaurant was, and let's just say their advice certainly didn't disappoint. Down a small alley, off the main strip of Chamonix Sud, which is the south part of Chamonix, is the famous local restaurant, I'm gonna butcher this, Panier de Quatre Saisons, which translates to basket of the 4 seasons. The cuisine was exactly what I was looking for, a comfortable lodge feel and an inviting atmosphere, like it was almost as if you were being invited into the chef's home. For the appetizer, we had a goat cheese ravioli in a leek fondue with a light Parmesan butter sauce. They are most famous for this dish, and I would highly recommend trying it. For the main dish and plate of the day, we had the roasted duck. If you have never had duck before, trust me, this is the place to have it. We also had a fillet of beef served with the red pepper butter and Savoy potato gratin. And of course, for dessert, a flaming creme brulee and a hot chocolate souffle. After dinner, we were feeling nice from all the wine, and it was time to hit the down and see what Chamonix has to offer at night. Chamonix is quite the party town. Down the main street, you have many bars to choose from. On the Rue du Moulin Street, you have all the packed bars and dance clubs. At night, this is where all of the action pretty much happens. It reminded me a little too much of a college party, which really wasn't for me, so I didn't spend too much time in the bars and clubs as I wanted to get out onto the mountain early the next morning. The next morning, it was time to go up to the closest resort to the northern side of Chamonix, Les Bourvons and La Flagère, which is walkable from some of the hotels and cabins on the north side of Chamonix. Once you get to the base, there is a cable car that takes you up to the summit of the mountain, and it's definitely not for people that are afraid of heights. There is no easy way to ski down from here, so if you're a beginner, you'll have to ride this tram back down to the bottom.
But let's just say the views at the top are definitely worth it. But then it was time for me to ski down.
And it didn't help that at the top, someone was getting helicopter lifted off the mountain. Literally hanging from the bottom of the helicopter and flying down to the village. That sounds absolutely terrifying. After surviving the ski run down, I ended up at a mid-mountain DJ party, only in Europe. Certainly not a bad place to stop and have a beer.
This is also apparently a very popular place where paragliders jump off the side of a snowy mountain and descend into the Chamonix Valley below. Looks exhilarating.
Of course, afterwards, it was time for another ski après, and we ended up at La Folie Douce. This is an eclectic hotel which has a huge patio with fire pits. And inside the hotel, there were some unexpected surprises in the bar upstairs. Translating to needle at midday or needle at noon, it's an iconic symbol for mountain engineering and holds the record of the highest vertical ascent cable car in the world. This cable car takes you from 1,000 meters all the way to almost 4,000, or 4,000 feet all the way to 12,605 feet. And if that's not enough, a glass skywalk around the peak entitled Step into the Void gives you a view 3,039 feet straight down, and one can see Mont Blanc to the south. And for the physically fit up for the challenge, you can actually ski down from the top, which is one of the longest ski runs, Vallée Blanche, which can take over 4 hours to complete, and you ski a total of 22 kilometers or 13 miles. The Vallée Blanche glacier has a many deep crevasses which are covered with snow, and you would never know if you are even skiing on top of one. This is why it is absolutely crucial that you hire an experienced and licensed guide beforehand. In the summer, the Chamonix Valley is also a very popular place, where paragliders from all over the world come to glide into the Chamonix Valley below. It is also a very popular place for hiking, rock climbing, and mountain biking. I would imagine it would be a beautiful place to come in the summer, as tourism probably calms down quite a bit compared to the winter months. Overall, here is my conclusion of Chamonix. When it comes to the incredible views of the Alps, Chamonix over-delivers. You can't capture on camera how miraculously beautiful this mountain range truly is, and how steeply they shoot into the skies above the Chamonix Valley. It's just unreal. However, I will have to say that Chamonix has two aspects to it. It has some of the best mountaineering in the world and very challenging expert off-piste ski runs. And then you have the more touristic side of Chamonix Village, which is definitely more of a tourist attraction similar to Vail in the United States, meaning it's more bougie and expensive with tourist traps lining the main streets. Personally, I will probably be choosing a less touristic ski area in France and/or Austria, as the prices for lift passes and accommodations are much more affordable and there certainly aren't as much crowds. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos about lesser known places in Europe and the rest of the world, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I'll be posting videos like this every single week on this channel. This is some guy named Dave on Earth, and hopefully we'll see you next time.